Namaste. Getting stuck in our identity keeps us from being in touch with and immersed in that which is deeper. Yeah? Not that there's anything wrong with identity, but it becomes our prison. So what we are trying to learn is how we can shift our attention away from our identity to that which is deeper, our simple state of being. Yeah? That's where all the solutions lie. You have to go to that deeper place where the mind doesn't control you. The mind and your identity. And some of you may not think that that place exists, but I want to remind you that you've all had some glimpse of that. And the work is to consciously let go into that more and more. You know, and think about this. Many of you have children. You know, Julie was with us in India, a wonderful child. And, you know, think when she was newborn, what problems did she have, you know? Did she, when you looked at her, do you think she was like aware of, I am a problem, or how is life going to turn out? I mean, babies, they are just coming out from that mystery place. They have just been there. They've been in that beyond time and space as pure consciousness. They're out. Of course it's painful, of course it's a big mess, but they have a holistic, for a while at least, a holistic experience of life. It is non-linear. They don't think, you know, where am I going to get my next meal, or how am I going to manipulate mom to give me the breast or anything. Everything is kind of like, has a oneness to it. They just grab it and do what they need to do. Right? You've been with your grandchildren a lot. Yeah, I mean, can you, and I'm not advocating everybody, I don't have any children, I don't miss having them, but I love them, you know, when they are in my presence. I see that they're also, of course, a lot of work. So, you know, but the point is that the state that they are in is what you might call the first level of consciousness, you know, the original level of consciousness. Precepts, it's pre-conceptual, right? And then, of course, gradually, you see this in your children and grandchildren and so on, that they get trained and they have to function in society, and they develop their ego and they have their identity and they go through their stuff, and of course all that is fine and necessary. The only difficulty is if we don't model for them the awareness that there's something deeper than all of that, they will get stuck in it. They will create their own prison. Isn't that true?
It is.
They really create their own prison. I mean, you can call it the prison of marriage, you can call it the prison of career, you can call it the prison of self-loathing. I mean, all of those things are still the prison of the mind and identity. What we have, that we can call level 2, that everybody goes through. But there's a third level that we are working on here, you know, and that is to create a synergy between the first and second level. In a way, we want to go back to being like little children, like newborn children. What's wrong with being that, even if you are 80, you know? I mean, you have the same joy at being alive. Of course it's more challenging, your body's stiffer, blah, blah, all these things. But why focus on that, as long as you have the ability to go to that deeper state where those problems disappear? This is the choice that we have. this is the control that we can exercise. We can control where our attention is. And that's a magical, wonderful God's gift, you know. So that third level is a synergy. It's not like we go against our ego. We say, oh, I'm not going to be that identity. I'm not going to be a lawyer anymore. Now I'm going to just chuck all that. You don't have to change anything. You just become aware that you are not stuck in it. It's like, you know, this door has been unlocked since we were born. But we have been under the impression that it's locked, so we can't get out. And that's why we always feel lost in dualism. You know, I'm here and I have these problems, and he's over there and he's got these problems, and now we got, you know, doing this whole dance. I'm not saying it critically, I'm saying it compassionately, you know. It's like everybody else, I lived through all that. But there is a way out. And by focusing within yourself and by having these glimpses, like Casper just described, it's the first time he's sitting here like this. He's done wonderful work with Jayadeva, but you know, it's the first time you're doing this. And this is a significant glimpse of the end goal. You are already free, you know, but you have to exercise that option yourself by placing your attention on it more and more. Then you gradually become so immersed in that, if you do it long enough and deeply enough, that becomes more real than all the other things. So we could think of this third level as a synergy between the original kind of pure awareness that a baby comes into the world with, still at least the remnants of, and the conceptual ego that we develop through our upbringing. Talking about these chakras, they're like doorways. You can go into your heart, and if you're thinking about your problems, of course your heart is closed or tense, right? You've all felt that. Somebody has left you and, oh my God, I'm miserable. This is natural. It's not that you want to repress and deny it, but at the same time, you can go in there and you can say, okay, this is the state now, it's closed, I want it to open. Where's the problem? It just got ground up in my attention on a deeper state. And you just have to try that. You don't have to try it, not for me, but for if you can try it and see if there's something to it. And I guarantee if you do it sincerely enough and long enough, you will discover that this is a fabulous way to grind up any tension. So that what might take 3 years to get over may just take a few months. Yeah, talking to you.
I know.
And everybody else. Because everybody will run into something similar sooner or later. So it's something to be so grateful for, that we have that ability and possibility. We don't have to understand it. Of course, quantum physics and cosmology are now looking into all of that and finding that there is good reason to think that this is really the way it is. That there is a no place, nowhere beyond time and space from which everything unfolds. It unfolds in itself. And it does so for its own amusement. you know. You see the Shiva statue, the Nataraj dancing, it's the dance of Shiva. And if we can really feel that on a deeper level, it frees us from all the guilt and all the burden of thinking that we are doing this wrong, or we're doing that wrong, and I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm this. All this stuff that has to do with our identity can just dissolve, at least for a moment, at least for a flash. And then if you really find that flash wonderful, you work at, paradoxically enough, you work at not working. You know, you sit down, you practice, you open yourself, and gradually you will find that this deeper reality emerges in you. It's just a recognition. It's beyond things. It's beyond everything. And yet it is everything. It is the source of everything. And then how easy it becomes to look at anybody and say, oh, that's me. It's the same. We are the same. We are the same essence. Even if that other person is totally unaware of it and doing some nasty things. We don't have to, hate the deeper energy that person is. We can dislike intensely what the person is doing, and we can even fight against it if we have to, But we don't have to be caught in it. It doesn't matter what philosophy is behind it or how it's explained. It's doing it and really accomplishing it that matters.